There are multiple reasons for why Mennonites left Imperial Russia. The context is that in the mid-19th century, Imperial Russia is undergoing a tremendous number of changes. Many of these are stemming from their loss during the Crimean War. And the new Tsar, Alexander II, is looking to modernize his empire. And Mennonites had been somewhat isolated previously. They were under the Guardianship Committee, which controlled aspects of their day-to-day governance. But Alexander II wants to integrate all of these diverse people into the empire, and so he starts to make a series of changes. Now, one of the first major changes is the emancipation of the serfs, which then causes all sorts of land issues to arise, and including some opportunities for Mennonites to start to purchase or rent land from the nobility, which could no longer farm their land without the free labor of serfs. And so we have a growing movement of Mennonites to different parts of Ukraine, but this also causes some other problems because there's a little bit of competition for that land as well. And then as part of these reforms, not only the abolition of serfdom, but there was also the abolition of the category of colonists, which takes place in 1871. And Mennonites were considered colonists in the Russian Empire. And being a colonist meant you had certain rights, and now those rights were being taken away. These rights included administrative rights, and so now Mennonites were being integrated into the administrative system of the Russian Empire. And this caused some concerns because Mennonites had the ability to sort of integrate their religious and secular administration together. But now it was moving more towards a secular administration in which they wouldn't have the same type of control, or at least religious leaders wouldn't have the same type of control. And so especially amongst the Kleine Gemeinde and some of the first-in-land colonists, this became an issue that they were attempting to address. And then the major reason for why Mennonites left was the loss of their exemption of military service. And now there were negotiations going back and forth with the Russian state about what this would look like. In the end, the Russian state pretty much always knew it was never going to actually have Mennonite soldiers. It had accepted that there was going to be some sort of alternative military service. Exactly what that would look like, it was unclear. But Mennonites such as in Fürstenland, also in Berchtal Colony and the Kleine Gemeinde, some of them just said absolutely not. We will not talk about this issue at all. Either we have exemption or we are going to look for opportunities elsewhere. And it just so happened at the time in which they're looking for opportunities elsewhere that the Canadian and American governments are also looking for settlers. So this opens up a door for them. Now, it was a little tenuous at first because you can't just easily leave the Russian Empire. There's a whole process by which you do so, although the door for that had also been opened by the Imperial Russian state, which when they abolished the category of colonists said, you have 10 years to leave. They also gave land rights to the different groups. Mennonites who previously the land had been kind of owned communally, and then now they had individual rights, which also created some opportunities to sell and things like that. But those were sort of the main points that helped Mennonites leave the Russian Empire, the main reasons why they left, and also the ways in which these certain doors opened at the exact right moment for them to go.